The rain had been falling since dusk, a soft, persistent rhythm against the windows of their apartment. Inside, the world was reduced to the glow of a single lamp and the scent of sandalwood and rain. Leo was at the kitchen counter drying a wine glass. Alara watched him from the doorway, leaning against the frame. She'd been gone for 10 days on a work trip, and the space he occupied now felt both familiar and newly discovered. He turned, catching her gaze, and the simple act of drying the glass stopped. His eyes traveled over her face, not with haste, but with a slow, appreciative reverence that made her breath catch. "You're staring," he said, his voice a low rumble that competed with the rain. "You're beautiful when you're domestic," she replied, pushing off the doorframe and walking toward him. The space between them crackled with the unsaid things of the past 10 days. He didn't meet her in the middle. He let her come to him, setting the glass down with a soft click. When she was finally within reach, he didn't pull her into a crushing embrace. Instead, his hands came up to cradle her face, his thumbs tracing the arches of her cheekbones. His touch was a question. Her answer was to rise on her toes and close the final inch, her lips meeting his. It started softly, a rediscovery. The taste of him was home, but the hunger beneath it was new. His hand slid from her face, down the column of her neck, over the delicate bones of her shoulders, leaving a trail of warmth. Her fingers tangled in the soft cotton of his shirt, pulling it free from his waistband to feel the heat of his skin beneath. He broke the kiss, his forehead resting against hers, their breaths mingling. "I missed the sound of your laugh," he whispered, his voice rough. "But I dreamed about the feel of your skin." That was all the invitation she needed. She guided his hands to the zipper of her dress. The sound was loud in the quiet room, a soft sigh of release. The fabric pooled at her feet, and his gaze was a physical caress, slow and worshipful. He didn't rush. He traced the line of her collarbone with his lips, the dip of her spine with his fingertips, learning her all over again as if she were a map he was desperate to memorize. When he finally lifted her, carrying her to the bedroom, it was with a strength that spoke of devotion, not possession. The rain painted shifting shadows on the ceiling as he joined her, the world outside dissolving into a blur of sound and sensation. There was no hurry. There was only the language they had built over years, spoken now in sighs and shuddering breaths. A touch here, a whisper there. A shared glance that held a universe of understanding. It was the sexiness of absolute safety, of being known so completely that vulnerability became the ultimate thrill. It was the heat of skin on skin, the syncopated rhythm of their breathing, the way his name on her lips was both a plea and a prayer. Later, as the rain softened to a drizzle, they lay tangled in the sheets. Alara's head was on his chest, listening to the steady, strong beat of his heart. His fingers drew idle, loving patterns on her arm. "Welcome home," he murmured into her hair, the words vibrating through his chest and into hers. She tilted her head up to find his eyes, already heavy with sleep but still focused entirely on her. In that look she found the real story. It wasn't in the passion of the moment, but in the quiet aftermath. It was in the certainty that this desire, this deep and resonant connection, was not a spark that would fade, but a fire they tended together, night after night. And as she drifted to sleep, wrapped in the scent of him and the sound of the rain, she knew the sexiest thing in the world wasn't a perfect body or a grand gesture. It was this being utterly, completely, and desiredly known.